We start from Orchos Tzaddikim, and I'll be the topic is the same. Amazing topic. We learn a lot every day, right? And hopefully we're going to result to change, right? And it's a gate of haughtiness. And we continue with the next paragraph, and it says, and furthermore, haughtiness leads to lust. Okay. For the haughty man's heart is expensive and desires everything, and lust is the worst of all trades. For one will lust through his haughtiness, to wear expensive garments, build a big mansion, and eat gourmet foods. For the haughty man always desire exotic things, and if he cannot afford these things, he may come to steal or rob. For the heart of the haughty man is desirous, and his pocket is spread wide to accumulate wealth. He will not be happy with his portion, for the great expenditure of the pride's desires will cause him to belittle what he has. Furthermore, the haughtiness cause one to lack patience and bearing the yoke of the fellow man. It is not necessary to elaborate upon this defectiveness of one who is not a patient person, is known to all. So, as we can understand, it's a lot to learn from this piece. I guess we should cover all of it. All this piece a little longer. I mean, sometimes you see some parts, some ideas a little shorter, but some much more longer, and that's what we're planning to do. Okay, so from the beginning, and we're going to explain Beezrat Hashem. And furthermore, haughtiness leads to lust, meaning all of the haughty men that he thinks or she thinks that the whole world was created for them, and they try to fulfill all of the desires, right? Lust, right? And haughty man's heart is expensive and desires everything. So meaning this haughty man, like everything belongs to him, right? How come? They have money, have good looks or something, right? They need everything. And lust is the worst of all trades. For one will lust through his haughtiness to wear expensive garments. So now, as we said last time, so these expensive garments is the first like a sign of the haughty man. Expensive garments, right? Expensive garments. Build big mansions, right? And sometimes you see at these houses, and I know like how much how much property tax we pay. We have tiny things, no property, nothing, right? Right, and how much it's crazy. I mean, maybe for us crazy. And I look at the other houses, standing alone houses, not apartments, standing alone houses, so huge, their taxes maybe, I don't know, $20,000-$30,000 just taxes a year, maybe even 40,000, maybe 50,000, I don't know, something like that, absolutely a ridiculous amount. Right, and normal person will think why do you need you work so much, right? Well, maybe right. So still, you have to make some of this money. Just pay for taxes. Forget about cleaning. Forget about other things. But just to heat the place, right? So you see the haughty man. I mean, 50, 60 people can live there, simply. Okay, to wear expensive garments, build his mansion, and eat gourmet foods, right? Something extraordinary. Okay. For the hot, so one of our students asked me. I thought that his journey a long time ago, maybe 5 years ago or so. So he said, "Is the gold kosher?" I say, I don't know, what do you mean kosher? If you made the kosher money, right? So that's gold, that's kosher. If you want to buy gold, no. I said, well, what do you mean? And then I realized, he's not asking this question, about, maybe, right? So he would say, money is money kosher. That depends how you make the money. Sometimes it's kosher, sometimes not. No, he said the gold is kosher to eat. I said, gold kosher? Look, you sick or something? Why do I want to eat gold? And he explained to me, like the outdated me. There are some people like somebody said that gold is healthy food, and they wrap some foods like in a thin gold wrapper or something, and they eat it like sick people. You understand? So I think it would cost a lot of money. I don't know. So he said, is it kosher? So I told him it's not food, so you can eat it. So, I mean, not food cannot be not kosher. Like somebody eats stones. Is it kosher? Are the kosher stones or not kosher pebbles or something? Right? It's not food. For the haughty man always desire exotic things, and if he cannot afford them, these things, he may come to steal and rob. So in a contrast to this, we learn in Michtav Meliyahu, Rabbi Lerner. So he said that a person has to lower the standards in the world. So, physical involvements, right? Go more on the spiritual side. And to go on a more spiritual side, so you have to downgrade this physical intake, right? Physical intakes, right? So and this haughty man is exactly opposite. So he decided that what he wants to do. He wants to eat this stuff. So if he does not have enough money, so he's going to steal, right? That's it. Steal or rob. For the heart of the haughty man is desirous, and his pocket is spread wide to accumulate wealth. So desires for wealth and to spend the money, right? To have all of these material pleasures. He will not be happy with his portion, for the great expenditures of the pride desires will cause him to belittle what he has. And it's, as we understand and we learn in Orchos, it's one of the biggest curses that person can get. Right, and it says in Orchos, nobody is going to die. A person who loves money too much, right, is going to die only when he makes half of the money. So, I mean, in one Mishnah explains, if he has 100, he wants 200. He has 200, he desires 400. So, meaning these people never satisfied. Doesn't matter how much they have. Like other person, whatever he has, right? She paid for the rent. They pay for the food. They bought some extra potato, extra rice until the next 2 weeks. They don't need to care about these things. So they're happy. They're tranquil. But these people, doesn't matter how much they have, they always worries, always nervous, always dissatisfied. And I know people like that. And I told this guy, I said, look, I'm not sure why you're so stressed out, why you're depressed. Most of my students and other people that I know, they don't make 1% of what you make. Said, no, you don't understand. Okay, so maybe I do understand. Just give me benefit of the doubt. Just because he's sick, that means that I do not understand. Right, exactly. Right, so these people that so dissatisfied, always, they dissatisfied to the point of the depression. Other people that they talk to say, "Oh, Rabbi, I'm so happy. I finally paid this credit card, that credit card. That's it. They're very happy." You understand? So the same, we bought this for Shabbos. Is it good enough? To honor Shabbos, whatever. I don't want to say whatever they bought. Some small things. Trivial, but for them it's big deal. They would be they live in debt for the past I don't know how many years. So and they wanted to default. I told them if you can pay off, unless maybe better not to default on all loans, because it's not true. Whatever they said, it was not exactly true. So I said Hashem is going to bless, and guess what? Hashem blessed, of course. Okay. Right. So, but these people, they're so depressed. Okay. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm laughing, but I'm crying for them. And unfortunately, I was trying to help, but I tried 1 time, 2 times, and they don't want to listen. They're so sure of them being right, so they don't want to listen to anybody. Okay, can we do? Right, and the next commentary, he belittled to what he has. His desires continue to increase, and they are fed by his ever-growing haughtiness. Right, right. Now he wants a bigger car, better car. Right, growing haughtiness. The more haughtiness, the greater his desires. Right, the more haughtiness, the greater his desires. And if his pride is not brought under the control, his resulting desires will increase way beyond the ability to maintain the newly acquired lifetime. Right, let's do one more time. The desires continue to increase, and they are fed by ever-growing haughtiness. So, meaning it just because he satisfied yesterday desire or desire from 6 months ago does not mean anything. Why? Because they want even more. Right? The more haughtiness, the more the greater desires. And if his pride is not brought under control, his resulting desire will increase way beyond the ability to maintain the newly acquired lifestyle. So now they have to pay for all of these things. So I offer, as I said many times, to a few people, they say, I'm so overstressed, I cannot pay this bill. I said, okay, so let's say if you want, I can spend time. Let's look at your expenses. Maybe we can cut back on something. Everybody that I offer this, they say absolutely no. Say no, not this time. Thank you very much. I'm going to look at myself. Okay, meaning what the person deep inside know that they can cut back on maybe 80% of this stuff. But don't be so stressed out. Okay, but okay, they are their own boss. Okay. Furthermore, haughtiness causes one the lack of patience. Right, meaning he cannot stand when somebody is underperformed. Right, somebody is not as not serving them as fast as they want. Right, lack of patience in bearing the yoke of his fellow men. Right. Again, furthermore, haughtiness causes one to lack of patience in bearing the yoke of his fellow men, and it is not necessary to elaborate on defectiveness of the one who is not patient person. Okay, could you mute the microphone? As it is known to all, by all, right? So meaning that, can somebody mute them, please? Okay, all right, okay, thank you. So you just, in order to mute somebody, you just press on the icon, and you're going to have this option to mute. Okay, thank you. All right, so we're up to the next. Up to the next point, comment, and they're going to count because they were well known to all, meaning this impatient person and some former student of ours. So he got upset about one of the video, I think I said it. So he called me, so I ignored it. I mean, I didn't need the calls. He left me a message. Okay, he sent me text, man, this and that. Okay, so I did not reply fast enough. I did not reply till this day. I blocked him basically. But he was very eager for me to take down one of the videos. Right, impatient. In Rabbi Zelik Plishkin's book, entitled "Patience," are scroll Shar Press. Very interesting. Zelik. He writes, "Arrogance breeds impatience. Arrogance brings impatience. The arrogant person is self-centered. Okay. When one is afflicted with this vice, one wants, needs, wishes, and desires are paramount. Right. So again, when somebody is arrogant, he is self-centered. So meaning everything must be revolved around him. When one is afflicted with this vice, right, meaning the arrogant, one's wants, needs, and wishes and desires are paramount. Right, so meaning it's all about them. Sometimes kids, the spoiled kids are like that. Right, it's all about them, what she wants, what he wants. The wants and needs and feelings and sensitivities of others are ignored. Like the mother, she's garbage or something. Has for shalom, right? That's how they behave. Thinking only about oneself, the arrogant individual is frequently impatient. No one should keep them waiting. Okay. The Paleo speaks about the importance of necessity of having patience for a person in a position of leadership. Wow. Vis-a-vis those whom he must guide. And for the common man, vis-a-vis the wife and children. Right. So very interesting. So Paleo, I also have books. It's my dream to learn it. One time. So I bought actually the original edition, but ArtScroll have a different, like newer edition. So ArtScroll, as we all know, like very great with commentaries. Like they would like analyze the topic and go deep inside. So it's very expensive. I bought like yeah, it's very expensive, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get ArtScroll as well. The Paleo so speaks of the importance and the necessity of having patience for a person in a position of leadership. So a leader cannot be impatient, right? So it cannot, especially vis-a-vis those whom he must guide. So meaning like sometimes people are slow, and sometimes I ask somebody and the person replied to me, I don't know what person is busy. The way he explained his life, he's okay. Has all time in the world. So he replied 3 days later. I know it's a little annoying. I mean, he asked me to do something like to do research. I did research, and now he like just checked. Okay, but of course I did not say anything. It's we don't know what's going on with right in person's life. So whatever. Okay. Right, and plus common when somebody is leadership, and even if for simple people with wife and children, sometimes wife is not moving like according to our standards, right? Not moving fast enough, and children do not cooperate. Guess what? They have their little ideas what they want to do, right? You're in a rush. They say we must live now, and they're still in their world. Okay. He explained that that only a person with a patient can be able to wait carefully how to relate to those for whom he is responsible. Right. The meaning for all of this person under him must be like a special approach to this kid like this, to that kid like that, to wife totally different. Right. To colleagues at work are different. Okay. All the more, so a teacher whose patience is tested regularly by the students must maintain self-control. For that, when need be, he reprimands them properly. Palliates let samach savlonos. Okay, so a teacher, and it's actually said in I learned in a commentary I think of Rambam, right, when in Hilchos Dios. And it was actually from different section. That section was Hilchas Talmud Torah, when it says the teacher must be patient. So we will learn about. I'm going to remind you in the halacha of not to get angry, right? So one of the things that we said, not to get angry, and it says especially it's forbidden to a teacher, right, to get angry. So he can show them that he's angry. Like pretend that he's angry to scare them, so they would start behaving properly. But deep inside, he cannot be angry, right? So in Rambam, they say if a person is angry, he has little patience for children. So like, and he takes everything personally. So I mean, it's better for him not to be a teacher. Better not to, right? Because children, like especially today, in my day, like it was like some. One of the guys says that a teacher allowed his son to stand up from time to time and walk back and forth and then sit down because he's like little on the hyper side. Like when I was little, somebody stand up like your parents are coming tonight. Like what do you mean stand up in the middle of the class? You normal? Like because of the food, I don't know, because of many things, right? So meaning the person who decided to be the teacher, so go back and then test it and see if you can handle it, and then see. Plus, it's salary is not great, right? So you have to decide if you can be this teacher. So difficult is a trait of patience that Hashem himself felt it necessary to instruct Moshe and Aharon about it. Very interesting. In Parashas Vayera, the Torah says, and Hashem commanded them regarding the children of Israel. Shmos 6:13. Right? Rashi explained that Hashem commanded them to treat the children of Israel with patience and calmness. So I mean, Hashem knew in His great wisdom. So it's not such an easy trait, right? So in some people, yeah, he's calm person. Sometimes these calm people they calm in the wrong way. Sometimes just so you know, like natural calm. They indifferent basically. Many of these people don't have feelings. You go into I don't know. So if somebody is going to die 3 steps from them, they say, oh. Right, I need to check what is the weather is going to be tomorrow. Right, somebody is dying. Maybe you should stand up and maybe do some. No, right, somebody is going to help. Let's see, is it going to rain tomorrow? So so natural calmness. I mean, it helps a little, but like to develop the right attitude, the right balance, we must work on ourselves. So difficult is this trait that even those two leaders of such a great stature and incredible sensitivity needed to be instructed and reminded about being patient. So meaning Hashem himself had to remind Moshe and Aharon, right, and Aaron, like the holiest of the holies, that they must be patient with the nation of Israel. Very interesting. So next piece is like a deeper insight. Instant culture. The general rule of thumb is that every gain comes with a price, right? There are many advantages of the technological advancement. Instant coffee, instamatic cameras, touch-tone phones, microwave ovens, remote control devices, etc. Okay. Have certainly added great benefits and convenience to our lives. However, the price of that our society has paid is very high. So, like we would expect, right? So, since people have so extra free time because of all of the shortcuts, like just to laundry alone, you don't have to go to the lake or like to the river. And maybe in the summer it's pleasant to do laundry in the river, but in the winter not so much, right? But I have to make do the laundry in the winter, like in the fall, in the spring when it's cold, when it's freezing cold, right? In like more northern countries, right? Or to get the water from the well, it's very cold. The water from the well is very cold, and try to warm it like unbelievable, right? So we would expect the people to have much more free time, and they would be much less stressed, right? So you don't have to like if you want the heat in your house, you just turn whatever the system you have. Right, or for example, if you rent and you have no idea how the heat works, right? You just the landlord did whatever. You live in a apartment building. They turn on. You have no idea what happened, but it's hot. But in olden days, no, that's not how it worked. You had to go buy coals, right, and or buy wood, right. Sometimes you have to go back to go into forest and chop the tree, right, in order to get wood. Right, so it was very different, and it just in order to get heat. So now we got the instant heat, we got the instant water, right? And we would expect to have all of the free time and learn, read more books. And guess what? People to be more reading? Absolutely not. People have even less time. Right? That's what he's said. It's always a price to pay. Right, with all instant things, right? And now a person has patience. How like I press the icon on my phone, and everything works, and now I press the icon on my wife or something, she's not performing. Very interesting. Okay. What was once considered understandable and acceptable waiting time, right? Write it down in double quotes. Has now come to be frustration time. Like in olden days, you go and stay in line. Whatever you need to get, you stay in line. Right, but today you have in the store. So sometimes I evaluate: should I go to the store or not? Like how many registers are open? Like I see from the outside, right? It's only one register, 7 people or 5 people. I'm not going to go. I'm going to come another day, right? So, but in olden days that's what you do. But today you order many things from internet, right? So it's much easier, right? For example, during the simple sporting events, the crowd is kept entertaining by the variety of distractions, both before the game and during the breaks. I'm not sure why he's Rabbi talking about sporting events. Okay. In the past, they would waited patiently for the action to begin. Having the patience to do so was not an issue because they waited for almost everything else as well. Meaning, so the way I understand, he says, now in the stadiums they entertain people when they come and in the intermissions, but in olden days there were no such things. Okay, no problem. They waited for a film to be developed, right? In my day, so you drop off the film and they say come in 3 days, 4 days. Some places like in 5 days even you have to wait. Right, develop. Rotary phones to turn, right? Like slow. The food to be cooked. But the technology has advanced, and more and more of life tasks are being done in a quicker pace. The trait of patience has all but disappeared. So meaning that people wants to everything instant, like like frozen food. So like just recently, like if you see how much the frozen food, meaning almost ready to eat, like how many, like it's much more than fresh food. Right, fresh food you have to prepare. That food is almost ready or 100% ready. This affects one's spiritual growth as well. Whether it be perfecting the characters, tikkun hamidas, right, one's character, or Torah scholarship, right? So meaning so everything, it takes time, and then some people they don't want everything quickly. If it does not work, they just dump, right? So and unfortunately, godless Torah, right? Or Torah scholarship, right? There are no shortcuts, but perfected character traits, meaning that as we spoke in our Monday class, so where we said you just continue doing again and again and again. How long it's going to take depends on you, right? That depends how rotten the person was, how bad this character trait was. So now for one person maybe 3 months, for another maybe a year or something, right? But there is no shortcut. The people do not change like overnight. Right, and all of the changes that overnight, so I spoke many times before, they go back as quickly they change because it was not sincere. But you want a real change, like this real change takes time, right? And Torah scholarship, okay. Also, people think they can be Talmidei Chachamim in 2 years, 5 years. Okay, so no quick fixes, no instant growth. These tasks require much toil, diligence, and of course patience, meaning that it has to like absorb, like especially Torah. Like of course you read one time and let's say a person understood everything. Of course you only think that you understand, but when you read the same stuff, like even simple commentary, next year you're going to learn much more. Okay. So developing and enhancing the trait of patience is the highest importance. Right, we must be patient. Okay, we stop here. And so there's some people they say they advance they like to finish books. So and then they have no patience. For them it's like a killer to go back and see what we said last time. It's like go like half a paragraph back, and they want only going forward. And guess what? The result is that from my experience it's very like a very little advancement. Okay, so we stop here.